Okay, here we are. There's the tree that they were buried under. Okay, Rod, tell me again.
This was 34 feet 6 inches from the edge of the creek. There's a spot right here behind this V log, and it was 375 feet from down on the road along the bottom of the bank over to the bodies. That was the police report. Probably took 4 or 5 troopers to lift this log off the top of the bodies. And the bodies were up on an alder like made out of tree branches and big rocks. And the rocks came from down here in the creek. Give them a shot of the creek there. They brought rocks, and brush, and leaves and everything and covered the bodies. And you can see there's a road up at the top where the strip mine is. There's a road that comes from Owl Creek Road up the hill to the strip mine, and there's another road that joins it at the strip mine, comes down the side of the hill to get down here, come past that tree stump, and the road came across the creek. And
Turn around here and face me. There you go.
came across the creek. It runs 10 feet in front of where this log is, and the bodies are located right here, probably 5-10 feet behind this log. And the road ran along the bottom of that hill back out to Owl Creek Road, where Trooper Cunningham and I were standing when Steve Slavinsky found the body.
Now you say that triangle right there was on top.
Yeah, when I first got on the scene, I was the second guy to get to the body. Steve Slavinsky was first. When I got to the body, this log on the bottom, one similar to that, was laying on top of this fork in the tree, and it formed a triangle. I didn't think anything about it at the time, but when I saw it in the book, that picture was pretty much what I saw the day of the search. And if you look up the hill, you can't see it right now, but there's several houses right on top of this ridge. And that's where the Huggins family and the Jackson family lived. It heard screams coming from down here at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. At 2 o'clock in the morning, real loud screams, lasted less than 5 minutes, and then there was total silence after the screams, and that's when the girls were killed at 2 o'clock in the morning, according to the autopsy report.
My thought of what you just said, when the screams were heard, and there's a theory that they were killed up on the top of this other mountain over here, strip mine, that screams came from there, maybe.
No, they came from, they probably came from up there, because that's where the parkers used to park.
Oh, okay.
Strip mine.
So they might have been killed
the
up.
Bodies down.
And they brought the bodies down because there was no blood here.
Yeah, there was no blood here, so they brought the bodies down probably the next day or a week later, or sometime within the 88-day law.
Yeah.
That's when they decapitated the girls, because there was no blood up there, there's no blood down here, no blood on the clothing, and they were decapitated with a machete because Cunningham took the parents to the West Virginia morgue the night we found the bodies, and the next morning he was white as a ghost, and he told me, "You wouldn't believe what I saw last night." And he said the girls, one girl, Karen, they had chopped on her neck, and there were several chops, like on 5 or 6, like the,
Okay, go ahead.
okay, you were telling me how many hits we had on video that we did. We had, what, 1,500 hits on the video.
5,100.
5,100
Yeah.
hits on our video. And one of the people left a comment. He was a trooper, and he felt that it was a spiritual sacrifice from what he read and looked at on our video, that the girls were sacrificed to one of the spirit worlds, and he felt the information that we had in the video was very prevalent. He always thought it was a spiritually related crime. And he'd been a police officer for 10 or 20 years. So we've not said anything about the spiritual part of it, but from the very beginning, when I was involved in the search, I spent 3 weeks with Trooper Cunningham, who, first day of the search, told me, "Rod," he said, "I'll bring you up to date on what we know in the Coed murder case from the West Virginia State Police side." And the very first day, he explained to me the first letter that they got. He told me about the mileage from Morgantown. He said, from Morgantown, you go 25 miles plus 1 mile in the forest. You'll come to the location of the bodies. And then later in the letter, he said the mileage is from the southern boundary of the city of Morgantown. You go 25 miles plus 1 mile in the forest. You'll find the exact location to the nth degree of where the bodies are. So whoever wrote the letters, at that point I assumed that we were looking only 8 miles out of Morgantown. I thought the writer of the letter was playing a game with the West Virginia State Police as to where the bodies were, game of cat and mouse. Cunningham then told me about the second letter. The second letter was 4 days after the first letter, and he said that go back and reread my first letter very carefully. The information was very specific as to the location of the bodies. And
Okay.
first day of the search, April 14th, Trooper Cunningham and I worked together for 3 solid weeks, walking the back roads of Wirt Mine area, searching for the Coed's bodies and the heads. During that time, Cunningham talked about the letters, all the information the police had, and what we were seeing every day. And in the very first day, Cunningham said, Rod, I'm going to bring you up to date on everything that state police know, and I'm going to tell you about the first letter. He said the first letter was written at April 6th, 2070, and it was sent to Charleston, West Virginia, to the governor's office. And the first letter went to Governor Arch Moore, and on April 4th, Arch Moore sent a Air National Guard out to fly a helicopter over the Weirton Mine area and the Goshen Road area and the Halleck Road area.
And that was what date?
April 4th,
1970?
1970.
Okay.
The very next day, April 5th, somebody in the Weirton Mine area, very possibly from the Hippie House location, up between Owl Creek Road and the 4-H Camp Road, somebody there contacted Reverend Hoover, who was the leader of the Church of Psychic Science in Lavelle, Maryland, and told him that the search had started in this area on April 5th. April 6th, coincidentally, the first letter was written and sent to Arch Moore in Charleston, West Virginia. And on the 14th, the National Guard teamed up with the state police and did a search down the Grafton Road, down the Goshen Road on the 15th, down to the Weirton Mine, and on April 16th, we began our trip up Owl Creek Road. And as we came up to this area, which is a triangle, the hill and the creek verge up at the top, and Owl Creek Road is at the bottom. Cunningham and I were standing on the road when one of my squad members had gone up to the strip mine with the rest of the guys. Steve Slavinsky took and dropped onto a side road that came down the side of the hill and came across the creek and came over here to sit down on some logs. And when he came over to sit down on the logs, the girl's leg was sticking out from the brush pile, and he hollered out, "I think I found the girls." And I was the first guy to get here when Steve hollered. Cunningham was right behind me. And we observed the bodies. There was a big log, which we have a picture of. You want to show that log? We have a picture of. Was on top of a pile of brush, stones, and on top of a altar were the bodies. They were well covered. If the girl's leg hadn't been sticking out, we probably would have walked right past them. But that was at 10 o'clock in the morning on the 18th of April. And we had my guardsmen do a perimeter security to keep everybody out. News media, local people. And from 10 o'clock until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Trooper Cunningham and I stood guard right where the bodies were to keep even the police out of that area from 10 o'clock to 3 o'clock before all the dignitaries got here to start uncovering the bodies. So 3 o'clock, they started uncovering the bodies, and Cunningham and I were standing probably 15 feet away from the bodies. And as they uncovered them, you could see the girls were both fully clothed. And as they took the top girl to put her on the stretcher, Cunningham said, "Those girls don't have heads." And that was the first time anybody noticed that the girls were headless. They took the girls, put them on the stretcher, and both girls were fully clothed. And one girl was missing her boots, one girl was missing a fur coat. Girls still had their gloves on, and were fully dressed. One girl's foot was missing, it was sticking out of the brush pile, and the shoe was missing on one foot. And that's pretty well a description of what I saw. They carried at 5 o'clock, the guardsmen carried the two stretchers out to an ambulance with Herschel Mullins. And I knew Herschel, and I was standing out there, and Coroner Byers was talking to the news media right behind me. And I heard Byers telling them that the bodies were side by side, face up. And I heard something about LSD, and I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to him. And he said the one girl was naked from the waist down. And I thought, well, that's not what I just saw. But, you know, Byers more of a professional than I am, so I didn't pay any attention to it. But they put the bodies in the ambulance, took them to the morgue. That night, Trooper Cunningham was asked to take the parents of both girls to the morgue to identify the girls. And the next morning, when he came back to the site, he said, "Rod," he said, "you won't believe what I saw last night." He said, "I've seen all kinds of car wrecks, terrible car wrecks, murders, suicides, you name it. But what I saw last night made me sick." And he said it looked like they had practiced on the first girl, chopping on her, practicing because they hadn't done it before. It's not as easy as cutting through butter. And he said they practiced on the first one. They whacked on it 7 or 8 times. And there was no blood on either girl, or very little blood on either girl, on their clothing or anything. And he said the second girl, he said, was a clean sweep. He said whoever it was had a machete, and they just swung harder on the second time, had a clean cut. So that information is firsthand, what I've told you in the 3 weeks that he and I discussed it. And we discussed the mileage. We discussed. We looked over in the area where the heads were supposedly, but nobody really took the heads seriously because police thought the letters were made up. And until June, when they actually found the letter writers. So the rest of the time we spent walking the roads. We walked all these back roads through the woods. There was another group of guardsmen from Fairmont up on the Halleck Road where they found a lot of the personal items strewn out along the road. And those items, according to the trooper or the guardsman I knew up there, said what they found was stuff 25, 50. He said some of the items they found were 75 feet off the road. There was been a theory that the girls were throwing stuff out the window. That doesn't sound like somebody just throwing stuff out the window in the ditch or beside the car. Whoever did that purposely planted the evidence that they had from the girls. And we'll do another segment on the mileage to the heads and the mileage
Let's
to the bodies.
let's walk over or drive over to where you had the dogs sniffing around and found scents from 50 years ago. Let's go over there and show the people, show about where you suspect the heads were buried. Okay?
We might add to this one. We'll go out here and I'll show you where the guardsmen went up the hill to the strip mine, and we'll describe that a little bit so that the girls were killed on the strip mine, not here where the bodies were found.
Okay.